Welcome to the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast with your host, Tony Jacobs. This podcast is not just about making money. It's about creating a legacy that stands the test of time. From analyzing market trends to mastering negotiation skills, we will leave no stone unturned as we guide you through different stages of real estate investing. We will bring on industry leaders and share stories from the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So now, it's time to level up your real estate game. And there's no better way to do it than right here with us at the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast.
Welcome to the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm with my guy, Rocky. How you doing today, Rocky?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. It's been a minute. Want to get you back on here for one episode. And this one's going to be dealing with how can an average W-2 worker get into real estate investing? I know you've been trying to get into this, which you will. I tell people, speak on it, it will come about.
Yeah.
And how to go about doing this is evaluate financial health. So the first one the topic talks about is check your credit score. It says a good credit score will help you secure favorable loan terms. Yeah, because when it comes to buying, especially homes and everything, they go by your credit. It seems like the credit score of about 680 is the part where people usually go at. It just depends on which one, because there's so many different get funding about into real estate investing.
I would say they do go off of credit for sure. It just gives them a foundation, like, okay, he's good with his money. The credit is what basically shows, right? And then when I went to go get my first house, it was credit, and then it was my income. And at the time, I was making zero because I just became a nurse. So they were like, I have zero income basically for the last year. I was in the nursing program.
Yes.
So income was a huge one. But the credit, she's like, the credit really only helps you. Is like what the loan officer was explaining to me. She's like, we can basically approve anybody.
Yes.
For a loan.
Mm-hmm.
But the credit really helps us determine what kind of interest rate we can lock you in and how much you need to put down and what kind of loans you can be approved for. Because you can have the best credit score ever, but you don't necessarily need a conventional loan if you're going into real estate to invest or something like that. Because what you want is someone else to pay that mortgage anyway. So credit score does help get the initial loan because it lets the loan officer know that you're credible.
Yeah.
But because when she told me that, she's like, these people come in here with like 5 something, 6 something, and we basically have like a quota that we make sure it has to be minimum over like 650 or something like that before we can consider you for this type of loan. So she's like, but if you come in with all the money down that we need for this house, she's like, you'll probably get approved. I'm like, that's crazy. So I don't know. Credit score does play a role, but it's more like, it's more just to see how well you're managing your money. I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. They want to see what type of pattern you're working with, making sure you pay all your bills in time, and making sure if you have closed accounts. Unforeseen occurrences happen.
Yeah, those ones too. Yeah. That's the biggest thing they were looking at. My credit score, my overall credit score, let's say it was like 800 is perfect, but they're looking at all my credit, like 4 or 5 credit cards that were overdue, and I paid them off like a couple years ago. But I built my credit back up. I took tons of like personal loans out. I'm like, oh, what'd you take those out for? Oh, I bought a motorcycle. Oh, I bought this boat. They're like,
right.
Your credit score looks good, but man, your credit history is who knows what's going to happen with this guy. So that was the biggest thing. It was like, my credit score was great, but my credit history wasn't the best. That was my wife. I went in there. She had, let's say I had like a 700. She had like a 780 or 790. I was like, how does she get a better credit score than me? And they're just like, you have she has a better credit score than you, but you have better credit because you have personal loans, student loans. You bought 3 cars, paid them off. All your credit cards are never been overdue. She's like, she has a better credit score, but you have better credit, and they went with mine.
Yeah, because you have a better credit history.
Yeah. So I was like, credit score doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get qualified, but yeah, having the down payment and everything aligned and your credit history up to par really plays a huge difference too. And what kind of loan you want to get?
Exactly, because there's so many different ones out there. I tell everybody because, like on the next point, it says save for a down payment. I mean, you can get between 30 to 20% down on a property. So
Yeah.
when it comes to what type of loan, I would definitely talk to a loan officer because they always have the avenues as to which one. I know some here in town where we live at, like you can get certain loans, which is this one is really hard in some areas. You can get a loan for land,
Yeah.
and even for dealing with the medical field, even um, with the doctors. There's actually loans for them. So there's all different types of loans that people have no idea about that they're out there that hardly ever get even used because I mean the information's out there, but it's not broadcast like that.
Yeah. And a lot of those specific loans for like, I don't know, there's loans like, oh, if you're a nurse or you're in the healthcare field, or if you're a doctor or something like that, or you're in the military, those things, those loans aren't the best loans for the banks because they have lower interest rates and and a lot more companies are it's like an FHA. I think it's built up is built up by three different loans
Okay.
into one, right? So those are three different companies that are getting a part of that versus like you go with one loan, conventional loan through the bank, and they're getting the whole pie. They're getting all the benefits from you paying that loan on usually a higher interest rate versus a little bit, and everyone else is getting a piece of it. That was my understanding because I was like, well, if that's the case, I'm gonna get a lower interest rate. I gotta pay more companies, but it's a lower interest rate. Why not go that way? And then she was explaining to me, well, if you mess up with one company, all other companies can come after you, and for us, it's just us dealing with you one on one. So it was yeah, I don't know.
Right? Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying.
The loan officer lingo, I was like, what?
Yeah, there's so
why,
much.
Why wouldn't I go with them? They're like, well,
we
don't make money off of you if you go that way.
And then the next one, when it comes to after evaluating your financial health, is educate yourself. And then it mentions here about a couple books, which so many people have read, is the Rich Dad Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki, and then I actually have this. I've actually had both books, that one and this one with the Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Gary Keller. That's really good.
Yeah.
The one about Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is really good, is basically it opens up your mind to how basically how money's dealt with, and especially with real estate investing. And then like the number one thing that I got from it when I first started reading it is about the middle class. They get taxed more than any other class known to existence because they always pay for everything. They get that hefty tax. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's 2024 now. Like that's why a lot of people have little hobbies and little things that are going on to offset those taxes.
What I got from that book, this is the one thing that really stood out to me in the book, is when he talked about going to see his friend's dad.
Yes.
And he was sitting in the dad's living room, whatever, waiting for his friend, and all these men and women are coming in and out of his friend's dad's office, and basically his friend's dad was the owner or CEO of whatever company it was, and he was the management and managing all these other people, and he's like, wow, he's not a college educated or whatever, and he's doing all this stuff and having a business and having all these employees and stuff like that. So like for me, the biggest thing of that book that really stood out to me was like anybody can do it.
Yes.
The work you put in will get you, eventually hopefully get you there. But like anyone can do it. You don't have to have a super college degree to do it. You have to have the mindset, and you have to kind of go through the process to learn and learn by your mistakes, and actually go to I think we're gonna talk about seminars and and read books and stuff. And if you really want to be your own business person, like then you have to learn about that and how to start it and just start it because you learn on the fly.
Yes,
a lot of times.
Because this right here, this real estate investing, they don't teach you this in school.
No one teaches you.
You don't. No, you.
Generational wealth. What?
No, right?
What's that?
They want they want you to work a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Work like a robot all the time till what? Till you're like 65 years old and you're broken down and you can't enjoy life.
That's it. 9 to 5, 401k. That's all I knew growing up.
Me too.
What the 401k? Oh, you invest money and then once you're done, you get the money back. Oh, amazing!
Exactly.
That sounds amazing.
But
and then that don't happen. That who said it? It's like, why would you want to put money in your 401k? People are like, because it's pre-tax. You put it in there, so you say you're not paying taxes on your 401k now, right? Then they're like, and the guy's like, do you think taxes are going to be higher or lower in 50 years? He's like, it's probably gonna go higher, inflation and everything. He's like, yeah. So right now you have the lowest tax break you can be, but you're putting that money into something that's gonna make you more money, and then when you pull that out, they're gonna be taxed like crazy again. So you're still gonna get taxed on it. So why not take the money that you earn and do something with it, right? The biggest killer for middle class is that we save. Save. For what? They're like, for what?
Exactly.
It's like what, If you're not paying off debt and getting you out of debt and getting you to a better spot to where you can invest, like don't sit on 100K and be like, yes, that's my nest egg. It's like,
stay with us. We'll be right back.
Attention realtors. First impressions are so important for real estate sales. Having a clean logo with easy-to-read information can impress a buyer and potentially get you that sale. Here at Boundary Waters, we excel at first impressions. If you need a logo or lawn signs, give us a call. Our experience at signs and banners have been proven for over a decade. Give us a call at 530-221-2151. Again, that's 530-221-2151. Boundary Waters Screen Printing, home of the Surf Ninja. www.boundarywatersinc.com.
What's been said, they said they said no person's been a millionaire just by saving money.
Nope. Invest.
You invest. You have to.
Invest.
You have to. And what was I going to say? It was when you said about that. Oh, with the 401k, I tell people, like, is it really a trap? I view it as a trap because
trap.
So
it's a trap.
So when you take it out early, you get taxed.
Yeah.
When you take it out on time, you get taxed.
Yeah.
If you take it out after you're supposed to take it out, you still get taxed. So no matter what, you get taxed on your own money.
Yeah. And that money is not money that the money that you put in. It's not just your money you put in. You put in your money into a big pool of other millions of people that put their money in, and they can lose it, gain, or whatever it is, all together at once. It's not like, that's all me. No, it's you and everyone else.
Exactly.
So when you used to watch on TV and it's like, the stock market's gonna crash, you might as well call all your friends up and be like, hey, our money's gone.
It's gone, right? It's at zero.
Because we're all doing the same thing. If it's y'all 401k, you're all 0.1% owner of whatever it is.
Yes. Oh man. Yeah. That 401k is a whole different.
Yeah. Oh man.
My goodness. Yeah, because you remember we was talking about someone that we used to work with, and she never checked her. She's like, no, I don't know how much money I have in my 401k.
She had no idea how much 401k. She had no idea how much money she had put into her 401k, let alone what she was making yearly. She only knew that if I put 6% in or 3% in my 6% in, my company gonna match that 6% or something like that. That's all she knew. It's like, so you put more money into something you don't know what's going on. I was like, do you just freely give away money? Because if that's the case, hook me up, sister.
Exactly. Yeah.
Give me $100 and I'll invest it for you.
Yeah, and this is the time. Wasn't this the time like just before COVID or during COVID?
During COVID, before, during, something.
Yeah,
like that.
and not knowing and just letting it just dwindle down.
It's crazy. I met someone that had $800K in her bank account, and then when COVID hit, it went down to like 6.5, and she was supposed to retire in a couple years. And I was like,
setback.
You should have pulled that out a long time ago.
Right?
Do something with that.
Yeah, when you see a trend going down, there might be a good advice to get it out.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, next one would be, besides reading books, podcasts like with us, the Professional Real Estate Investing Podcast, other blogs. The ones I like I love, besides my one show, Think Media, but they really don't deal with real estate investing. Sometimes they do deal with real estate investing, how they go about it, because they deal with tax repairs, is Bigger Pockets, because that's the biggest investment platform that we do have. And they have so much information, forums. The community is huge. So that's one of my favorite podcasts when it comes to the real estate investing part. And then the next would be attend local seminars, webinars. Me and this gentleman right here, we just went to a seminar.
First one.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was amazing. It didn't deal with homes, but it dealt with multifamily, but it opened up our eyes. We understood the language that was spoken. If a person from the outside came in and they didn't understand the vocabulary, like they would be completely lost. But we knew everything he was talking about.
Like, you know how you said, look at podcasts and blogs? Like for me, sitting down for and watching like a huge long podcast was almost like draining. I'm like, so I watched like a bunch of like 5-minute, 10, 15-minute clips or whatever. And just watching that, like, keep myself fired up. Like, I want to invest, and some people are like, oh, if you invest, if you do an LLC, watch out for this. I'm like, and that was it. I'm like, okay, that's something to watch out for. I'll just keep those little mental checks in my head. And so, but those lingos like LLC, ROI, and net, and all this stuff, different lingo. I just watching those little clips and blogs and little podcasts, it helped me with my lingo. So when we went to that seminar, everything they said, as far as the main like terminology, we knew
exactly
like,
what you're talking about. Yes.
And the biggest thing for that whole thing was like knowing what they were talking about helped us understand where we were at.
Yes.
Because I felt like we walked out of there going like, oh, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I need some money.
Yes.
Let's get
funding in these deals.
We gotta go get some money. We gotta go get something invested right now. But that seminar, I think it took us a while to get a seminar locked in the books and gone. But the biggest thing I feel like with those seminars, like a lot of people, and I was one too, that going to these big, huge seminars, you got to know what you're going into and how seminars work. Because if you don't, then you're gonna lose what they're trying to teach you. Like for us, we knew, okay, this is multi-investing. They're gonna talk about get money out, multiple investors, time frames, payouts, and all this different stuff, and knowing that the investment is not gonna be in your backyard. It's gonna be all over. All over the country, who knows where. So we knew that stuff. But if someone came in there and they knew about multi-investing, I think for the average person, they're like, okay, you buy a duplex or fourplex or whatever, and it's gonna be local. No, it's gonna be like they said they don't deal with anything under like 100 doors, something like that.
Yeah.
90 to 100 doors.
Yeah, they don't do it. Yeah, that and they don't mess with the state of Illinois.
A couple of states so like we don't mess with these. So knowing all that stuff and what they're saying, it really helps us like understand what they're saying, but not only understand, like help us track. Like, okay, that's how they do it, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Versus walking in there, because I walked in there and I felt like for a second there, I felt like, is this a pyramid scheme?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I know. I know exactly what you're saying. I know what exactly what you're saying.
They about to get us with some. Oh, okay. Well, I need everyone to give me $100 if you're like, what's going on here? But it did not feel that way because I knew exactly what they were talking about. I knew exactly what route they were going. I knew exactly what I had to do, as far as like my end, right? So that was cool going in there knowing what, because I know people that go and buy, this is what I equate it to. They go to seminars and they go timeshares. I was like, what's a timeshare? And my friends, the family members that have some, they can't even tell you exactly what it is. I was like, okay, so you tell me you own a piece of property? It's like, no, we don't own it. We just kind of rent it with well, how much food you rent with? I think it's like 4 or 5. You think?
Right.
So you rent it. You think 4 or 5 people. Oh, what? Well, when can you go visit? Anytime? No, we don't. We can't visit anytime. It's a schedule, and we visit like 4 times a year, and we have to split it up with other people. I'm like, so you're like they knew enough to where they can get on a plane and go visit their place, but they didn't know. Okay, who's paying for this? How is it getting paid for? Who did you take a loan out? Who's capitalizing on this? They didn't know nothing. They just know we pay this much money. We can go there on these days. I was like, that's how they get you.
Yeah,
that's how they get you. And what happens when you lose it? What happens if you die? Who takes it? Or can you transfer it over? I don't know.
You're right. You might want to check that out. And the thing is, I'm glad we went to the seminar because people see. I know that a lot of people see it advertised in emails, YouTube, all different types of social media. If it's a credible one, go to it. The one we went to, like I got hit up in social media about it and an email, and it was amazing. I would do it again. In fact, definitely going back next year, be a part of. I was telling Marcus I'll be part of that syndication because at least I got the information. We know what we're working with.
Yes.
And then we can go full throttle on it. But it's just up to what's going to be beneficial for you. If you want to do homes, if you want to do multifamily, if you want to, I'm not going to jump the gun, but well, actually it's the next topic. It's like explore different real estate strategies, the house hacking, buy and hold, the RITs, wholesaling. It just depends what you want to do in your real estate journey and what's going to be more comfortable for you. And if you don't feel comfortable, find a mentor that is able to, you can be side by side with him and you learn all the techniques and all the strategies to be used and whatever classification that's being used.
Well, you know what? That's the biggest thing because you hear it 1,000 times, mindset, and then find like a mentor. So you and I both can agree. If we had a mentor for what we want to do, for let's say someone mentor you for your podcast, me just trying to get my first real estate investment, it'd be amazing.
Oh yes.
But finding a good mentor and someone you click with is almost impossible if you're not out going to these seminars or reading about it and talking to people about what you want to do. It's almost impossible because I met someone through Facebook Market. I picked up like a fire pit from somebody. I was like, man, you live in a beautiful home. What do you do? And he's like, oh, I'm a pharmacist, but I'm a real estate investor too. I was like, oh. And I started talking. We started talking for like 30, 40 minutes about his investments and how he did it and all this stuff. And I was just there to go buy a fire pit for him. So I was like, oh, this is amazing. I was like this close. Like, can I get your number? But it wasn't that kind of. He just wanted to chit chat. But it was nice talking to him, and I got his perspective. But my point was, you can't always find a mentor. So what's the next best thing? Surround yourself with people that like-minded. Same thing with me and you, man.
Exactly.
It's a process, and going to that seminar was super beneficial, like for my mindset, for what I want to do, if I could do it, and my options and stuff. But going with you, it makes it 10 times more better because we conversate about it and we like fire each other up, like, man, what you think about that, man?
Yeah.
I thought he said something about this, man. What do you think? You're like, I don't know either. That me too.
Exactly.
So
each other's brain.
Oh man, it was so good. And if I went there by myself, I'd just be driving home by myself.
World.
And I'm like, so much questions.
Yeah.
So that's the best.
Exactly.
Surround yourself. First and foremost, get your mind ready, and then as your mind gets ready, surround yourself with like-minded people, and then, hopefully, I wish everyone has an amazing mentor, but if you can't find it, and that's the thing is.
And the thing,
people around you.
And the thing is, like you said, with the mindset, that I believe the mindset is the hardest part because you have to adjust your mind.
For sure.
Like, I'm not saying you're better than someone else, but you have to change it completely different. You have to sit back, you have to think and adjust. You're like, okay, what direction do I want to come at? Do I want to do this for myself? I want a better life. I want to, create generational wealth for my kids and for my grandkids. Like, that's a whole different avenue right there. It's sometimes it could be a beast because you got to get over that big hurdle. You need to sit back and just ponder and like, okay, what's my next step? What do I want for the future? Don't go by that 401k.
Yeah.
Because that's really not going to do a whole lot for you. Like I say, Uncle Sam is going to get his share of taxes. Like, hey, thank you for putting this money in, but we're going to get our pie.
Yeah.
Like someone told me one time, it's kind of with the 401k, it kind of reminds me of this. They say, I remember listening to a podcast, trying to remember who it was, and he's like, oh, do you know why the government doesn't allow you to pay your taxes off of each check? And I was like, man, why did he say that for? And he said the reason why he said that for, he's like, because the government doesn't trust you. So the government is already going to take their piece of the pie before that money comes to you.
That's it.
And I was like, man, isn't that the truth? So that is exactly like the 401k.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I got my first check when I worked at McDonald's, my first job worked at McDonald's. I got my check. I did the math and everything. I was like, if I make $6 an hour, I work this much hours, I'm going to get a $500 check. Woo! And I got to open my check. Why am I only get $325, mama? She's like, that's Uncle Sam. I was like, I don't know who the hell Uncle Sam is.
But I got to find him.
Oh, man. I was like, what's this SSI? What's this CA thing? She's like, my mom was like, boy, you going to learn today.
Yes, you are.
It was rough.
Right? So that starts life right there. When you get a first check, I told my daughter, as I said, yeah, when you pay that first bill, sorry, you're adult.
That's it.
Yeah. That's like a job.
You just got your tax number into the government.
Entered in. Yep.
They say, sweet, got another one. got another one paying taxes.
Oh. Yeah. All right. The next one is when it comes to like evaluating financial health, it's like get approved, be pre-approved for a loan. And that's when you talk to your mortgage lender, and they'll let you know exactly what you're working with your credit score and your finances and how to go about getting to places. That's right there. That's like on a more personal level, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can just tell the loan officer exactly what you're working with, what you're striving for, if you're for a house or if it's going to be a duplex, triplex. You can go from there, but they'll let you know. And I've always said if it's 5 doors or more, then that's when you do it the commercial, and you go by the rent roll and how much you can make off the investment.
Going to your loan officer, to any loan officer, don't settle for the first one. If you go to any loan officer and you tell them, okay, this is how much I make, here's my credit score, here's my goal, here's what I want to do, they will break down the math and they will tell you if you want to do this, they'll give you your options because what they want your business. Yes. Even if you can only you want a $500,000 home, they'll make it work. Mm-hmm. Versus if you only want like a $100,000 home, they'll make it work because they need your business. They want your business, but they gotta make sure it works for them first, and then if it works for you.
Yeah, because they gotta get paid.
Yeah, they're like, okay, I know you said the max amount you want to pay on your loan is $1,500, but we're gonna get you a loan for $1,595. Can you afford that? Even though you just told her $1,500 is my max. In their head, they're like, okay, we got them at 15. Let's see if we can get some more out of them. And they'll squeeze you to get what they have. So they want to make sure they can make their money, and then as much as they can off you, and then you have to, like you said, it's a personal thing. Like, can you do it? Can you work and get that extra $95? But but don't settle for the first loan officer. I went to 4 or 5 before I bought my first house because each loan officer has their own set of rates. Each bank has their own sets of rates and fees that they go with. But usually for the W-2 employee, that's where you're gonna go.
Yes.
You're not. I mean, you could have someone that has a ton of money that can help you invest, right? Private lender or something like that. Or you can go to a bank, which usually that's where you're gonna go. So that's what I would say. If you're gonna go, the regular person, a W-2 employee, is usually gonna go to a bank with all their cards laid out and say, I want to invest. What do I need? How much do I need to make or bring down, whatever, and then you go from there. Because that's how I did it.
And even with a bank, a good advice for a bank, get familiar for wherever you're at. Get familiar with the credit unions. Because usually with the credit unions, the interest rate is way lower.
Yes. Yeah. Wherever loan officer you're talking to, if it's a credit loan, business, whatever it is, go to multiple places and get multiple because they want your business. They're all in competition.
Yes.
I got a buddy he bought a house and I was like, well, how many loan officers do you talk to? How many banks you go to? Oh, one. I was like, what? What? I went through 4 of them, and you know what happened at the very end? The first one beat the second one. The third one I went to beat the second one, and then the fourth one I went to the very, very last one. He beat all of them, and then the third one I was like, hey, I went with you. I was gonna go with you, but I went to another bank. They said they're gonna beat it by 0.001%. I'm gonna go with them. He's like, wait. I'll beat it by 0.1 or 0.2%. I was like, done deal, it's sold.
Right.
And I was like, that just saved me over the course of 30 years for a conventional loan. It saved me almost like $20,000 or something like that.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And that was just me telling them, okay, I went with you. I'm gonna go with someone. I'm talking to someone else. And they all want my business. Because if they didn't want us, they'd be like, okay, you don't want to talk to me, you don't want my business, fine, move on.
Yeah.
Like, no, they called me every day. So did you decide to go with me?
Yeah, they don't want that business to go. They know you need it.
Yeah. So I recommend go to all the credit unions, all the banks, lay the cards on the table because they're gonna dig through your history anyways.
Yes, they are.
They're gonna dig to your credit, they're gonna dig to your employment, how much you get paid and all that stuff. So
yeah. And then the next one is I would advise a lot of people to do is start small, purchase a starter property. And then make sure you want to make sure that somewhere or another you get some type of cash flow from it.
Yeah.
Because I view it like this. It just depends on your situation. Like I know my situation. Definitely next year I'm gonna do it a multifamily because that's what I love, and I see all the avenues and the benefits and everything for it. But yeah, start off small. Like everything that you do, especially in life, start off small to get where you need to be at.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just something sparks your interest. Read a book.
Yeah.
Do a podcast. Go to a seminar. Just slowly steps, and who knows? Who knows? Next year you'll be in the office talking to a loan officer, going, "So I was really thinking about investing. This is my option. What's my options?" And then who knows? The next year you might be looking at property with somebody or something like that.
Yeah.
Start small, start slow. It's a process for sure, but if you can purchase or be a part of an investment property, no matter how small it is, maybe a part of something, that's just the ball getting started.
Yes.
Just like anything, like
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna play the saxophone amazing off the bat. It's gonna be horrible the first time you touch your lips. But as you take your time, you learn it. You learn the chords. You learn how to read the notes and everything. It's gonna sound smooth and better. It just takes time, just like real estate.
Exactly. But trust me, that's what I got for my birthday last year was a saxophone, and
oh yeah,
I actually got the gentleman's name on the board right there. I gotta go with him. Yeah, I remember the first time I blew on the saxophone. I was like, why is it not making any noise?
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And the next one, you want to network with other investors. Another place I just found out that you can meet, especially with seminars, or if you can do a webinar on, or you can go to wherever physically it's called meetup.com, and put in the search bar real estate investing or real estate investors, and it will generate all that. Yeah. And I've been dealing with that. Like I'm like, this is amazing because it shows you where, or if they have a webinar, it has a link and everything. It'll tell you what time.
Yeah.
And I found that very interesting because I was like, what other? Because because we're so far up here.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I know they don't have that many, but because we have to go down like to Sacramento or like Fairfield where we did go to. But I know that's another one. If anybody want to do some type of meetup, go on that website. It's called meetup.com. You don't even have to register. Just put it in the search bar and it'll generate all the meetups around your area.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. And then you got to leverage your W-2 stability. So I remember this gentleman, Doug Pete, he was on the Social Proof podcast, and he was talking about his journey into real estate investing, and I will never forget it. And he was working for Verizon, and he was giving it was like he said, I believe 60 to 70 hours a week at Verizon. I will never forget this, what he said. And he had his annual evaluation, and it was crazy because I'll never forget this. And he was in the supervisor told him, he's like, "Oh, how you doing, Doug? You're doing great and everything. Just to let you know that you meet all expectations." He said, "No," he says, "You're a meets person." He's like, "A meets?" He said, "Yeah, you meet expectations here, you meet expectations here, you meet expectations here." And for that reason, for where we're at with the state of our the economy here at Verizon, we're not going to be able to give you a bonus. But keep up the good work.
Dang.
And then he's saying, "What? I give up 60 to 70 hours a week at this place?" He's like, "All right, I know what to do." And then he told people, the companions he works around told him out, and they're like, "Art, you should be upset." He said, "No." He said, "You don't understand. And this is the mindset right here." What he said, he says, "You don't understand this." He said, "These people are help funding my business."
Yes. Yeah.
And I was like, when he said that was golden. I was like, that's that mindset that changed everything. And he said that, I felt like I was there with him when he said that. He says, when he said that, he said, "You understand? He's like, they can do whatever to me as long as they pay me, but they're funding my business." And I was like, yeah, that's where we're at right there.
And there's so much people that get locked in a W-2 and they get paid like this is it, which is, if you love your job and that's what you want to do, keep doing that. But I would say don't rely on any other financial institutes to help you financially. As far as like, my SSI, retirement, disability, all that stuff, 401k, don't Roth IRAs and stuff unless you got some really good returns. But working your W-2 is totally fine.
Yes, it is. But there's nothing wrong with it.
What we're talking about is your W-2 job is supposed to be helping you achieve financial stability for the long term, I would say, right? The long term, because you can work your W-2 all day, every day to the day you die, and you'll be financially stable, right? So what I'm talking about is invest your money, because I know people that they buy I don't know what do people buy that just like whatever, a boat.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna work my butt off to get this boat.
Mm-hmm. Jet skis.
A jet ski, and I work my butt off for that. I was like, that is not a good idea because that is not an asset. That's a liability, right? Because you just buy a boat. But then I know other people are like, yeah, I'm working my butt off so I can buy a boat so I can start my tour guide.
Yeah.
My fishing guide.
I know what.
Oh, dude.
Remember Carlton?
Awesome.
I remember the episode with Carlton Dennis, and he said that it was about a boat, and he had a client had to buy a boat, and like, well, what do you use that boat for? And the client was actually a real estate agent, and he used that boat as a write-off because why? Because they literally would have to go along the lake to see the back end of homes. Yeah. So there's all different ways and avenues.
Yeah, but he used his W-2 to fund his side hustle at the time to get this boat that wasn't a liability because he turned that into an asset for his business, which how you gonna be a fish guide if you don't have
you don't have no boat?
So like, oh man, that makes much more sense versus the other guys. I'm gonna buy a boat. I'm gonna take my family out. We have fun, go on these vacations and stuff like that. And I was like, in my head, I see cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. All this money that's going to waste versus the other guy spending the same amount of money, time, energy, and effort. But at the end, he might be able to be financially free because you know what? He might be on the lake all day, every day.
Yeah.
But making money because he's doing tour guides versus the other guy on the lake all day, every day. But he has to go back home or he has to go back to the W-2 job.
And with that boat company, he could actually meet an investor, talk to the investor, and before you know it, he'd be in the deal.
Oh yeah.
It only takes one person.
Sitting on the boat fishing, he's like, "Hey man, you just started your fishing. You just started this whole fishing thing." He's like, "Yeah, I'm interested in investing in something like this." And like, what? Next you know, you got
Yeah,
5-6 boats up the river with your name on it.
exactly. Changes
Or
your
something.
whole
It takes
world.
one. It takes one good deal. Let's talk about that. Just say like one good deal, you change your whole life.
Yes, right.
But yeah, working towards something, using your job to work towards something. Because everyone else. I mean, when I talk to people, like, what is your goal working here, right? What's your goal on it? A lot of people are like, I enjoy what I do. It's fine, get my kids to college, live a comfortable life, and retire. I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. But a lot of people don't have a goal when they go to work. Because I remember when I was in school, when I first got my job at Dolls, my goal was to buy some new shoes. That was my goal.
Oh, yeah.
I need new shoes,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then eventually, I need a car. So I had to work, get a car. Eventually, Now I see people, they go to work and they have no goals. They just stack that money, pay their bills, and go on vacations. There's no more goals no more.
No, there isn't.
And like, it's crazy to me now because I'm starting to come into money with my job now, and like all this extra money that I have is like, dude, what am I gonna do with this? I can go buy a boat, or I can invest it and make me more money. Like I got like the W-2 I feel like the W-2 person needs to know like what's your goal when you go to work? Like what's the goal? Like
Have them, I talked to someone and she always plays, I work hard for my money. And I was like, well, I said, mine's is reverse. She goes, what? I want my money to work hard for me.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll make that. You gotta put a shirt on that.
Yeah, is that right? Exactly right. And I told her that, and she just froze up. She goes, "Tony, you speak the truth." I said, "I always do."
Oh man.
And then the next part that people need to understand when you come into real estate investing, also the consideration of the taxes, which I love because why the government allows it. They allow you to get depreciation and deductions when you own real estate investing. There's so much. I mean, people, the roof, appliances. There's so much that's involved. Just the average person doesn't know. And then that's when you get to it's different. You don't want to go to the H&R blocks, the TurboTax or anything. You want to go to, if anything, you want to go to a tax strategist.
Yes.
Because a tax strategist will tell you exactly what you're going to be working with, especially
that like the middle, when you start, I don't know, you start making money. So let's say middle class, the middle class W-2 person, they're like we talked about, they're paying the max amount of taxes, and they do that every year without blinking of an eye. They're like, yeah, I pay my taxes. I work more hours, I know I'm gonna get taxed more. But like going to a tax professional that can actually sit you down and tell you, hey, because so I hear this a lot of times. I don't want to work extra hours because I'm gonna go into the next tax bracket and pay way more taxes. It's not even worth it. But then I tell them like, well, you're not gonna make more money if you don't work more.
Yes.
So you're telling me this is the max you're ever gonna work. So you're never gonna make more than this because you can get taxed more. So the only way to beat that is to work more. So when you do get taxed, you can actually get some money back. But then I was like, that's one part. The other part is, well, why don't you just lower your taxable income down?
Yeah.
They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you heard about tax breaks, right? You always hear these big companies have tax breaks. Like, yeah. It's like everyone can do it.
Everyone can
do it. If
you're
a W-2 employee, everyone can get tax breaks.
Yes.
Everyone, the most common ones, right? Child tax credit.
Yes.
Right. You have your home tax credit or renter's tax credit. All these ones, or you go to school and you have a school tax credits too for school and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, but there's so many more tax breaks that you can get that you aren't utilizing. Like what? I was like, you ever heard about an investment property? With tax breaks, you can literally drop down an entire tax bracket while making the same amount of money if you have a home. By the biggest one, depreciation.
Oh yes,
depreciation, the hugest one. And they're like, "What are you talking about?" Like, dude, you need to look at the podcast. You gotta read the book,
right?
And go talk to a tax professional.
To a person who's just coming into it, it's foreign to them.
It's crazy. When I started opening my eyes to it and started reading more and learning more, I'm like, oh, and started making more. I was like, oh my, I should have have a rental property long time ago. Just not only to make more money on the side, but just for the tax breaks. Because if you made 100K that year and you got taxed 20% or something, or 120%, or let's say, wait, you made 130,000 and you got taxed like almost $40,000 of it, $30,000 of it. So you only made around what 90K or took home 90K versus if you would have bought a house, a rental property, and made 60K because you were renting out, but then you actually made 60,000, but they're only going to tax you
Right. Yeah.
20% of that versus 20%, 30% of the whole overall amount. It's crazy how much money you save. Not save, but don't get taxed and have to pay in taxes because the goal is to never pay taxes.
You offset your taxes.
Yeah, so every year if you're not paying taxes, it's you're saving that much money.
And that's how the wealthy do it.
Yeah.
So a lot of them too, like they'll come and they'll owe, but then they'll have it. It's even so much. The government doesn't owe them, but they can carry it over the next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So much.
So much can carry over. Yeah. Even when we do our taxes, because a lot of people want to go to. A lot of people that I talk to don't want to go to a tax person that is higher up, like a CPA, a CPA, NA, EA.
The EA.
So they want to go to the other ones because they charge more versus you going to a TurboTax or Liberty Tax or whatever. They charge you
limited.
$60, $100, and they do all your taxes. Versus someone else, you charge them, they charge you $250. They charge you $250, and they're giving you all these extra options, and they say, hey, I notice you have this. We can put this down on it and that. Versus the TurboTax is like, put your information in there, and here you go, you're done. And the other ones can actually break it down, and then they can just be like, well, since you did this, and you have a business, you can use that $250 that you pay me today and write off for next year.
Exactly.
And then next year that. So
it's the domino.
It's just like it sucks you have to pay the extra money up front to do it. But if you're making a decent amount of money, it behooves you to go up in the old tax professionalist.
Yes.
Like you make more money, you gotta go to better tax. Like you think Donald Trump's gonna go to H&R Block?
Nope.
He probably got 4 or 5 people working on his taxes. Like he probably got the best tax lawyers, everything going on and stuff.
Yeah.
Because he's making that much more money. So I feel like you start making money. If you go to McDonald's and you only made $10,000 a year, you don't need one. You don't need one. But if you're making 100K more, he's like, okay, you guys start realizing where you can get tax breaks, and no one's gonna tell you that unless you go to a professionalist.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing about it. No one's going to tell you. So the government's like, yeah, go ahead and give me all this money.
Yeah.
We're not going to refund this money back to you.
Yeah. They say, yeah, your taxes are done. Sweet. Here's your little $500 check, and you're good. Little did you know they owed you like $5K
Right,
or something like that. You're like, what? That's how my buddy. He went to the wrong tax person, and they just messed him up. He ended up owing a ton of money, and he ended up getting back a ton of money, and then at the end he still owed a ton of money. I was like, oh God, you gotta go somewhere,
right?
Somewhere that can deal with your stuff.
All right, I'm gonna go down to this main one is this last one. To stay consistent, I view it as definitely hard nowadays. The reason why it's hard nowadays because it's hard to keep people on track because there's so many different distractions. Yep. When it goes on. So whatever you do, it's old, but it's so well, I always write stuff down. I always have you got the mental, but then write it down so you don't forget where you want your real estate investing journey to go to. Yeah. I mean, because everybody, like I said, everyone's going to be different. You want to know what you want to do. Do you want, for you, your family, for your children, generational wealth? Go by those different avenues as to which way you want to go, because in the long run, it's going to help investing is going to help you. Like I've looked into the stock market. I've listened to other things, and I'm like, when I heard from when I was watching a $1 Million Listing with Josh Altman, and he said, God's not making any more land, God's not making any more dirt, but what's being made is babies every day. So someone needs a place to live.
Yeah.
Like, why not go get into real estate investing?
And everyone's investing in something.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people invest in their health. Some people invest in education, invest in your family, stuff like that. It's honestly, it should be one of those things like when you go to doctors, like, do you smoke? No. Do you smoke? Do you smoke? Yes. Well, you need to stop smoking. Do you eat good? No. So you need to start eating good. Do you exercise? No. Well, you need to start exercising. It's one of those things like, yeah, it should be one of those things like the what you invest in should be uh what you invest in should benefit you versus like I'm gonna buy a boat and just be fun. That depending on what your end goal is, that could be great. Versus the other person that bought a boat for their business, like you have to invest in something that's gonna be beneficial to you, and you know, starting small, being consistent, knowing, and I think you put a point on it, knowing the end goal, right?
Yes.
Knowing the end goal for it.
Know your why.
Yeah. A lot of stories they start at the end. When you write a book or a story, like you write the conclusion before they even write the whole book, just because they need to know where the end goal is. So like if you're gonna invest in something, you're gonna learn something, you're gonna invest in your body or whatever. Your end goal is to be healthy, so you can be there for your grandkids or something like that, right? Or your education is you invest in that so you can be smart enough to take the exam and become a doctor or something like that. So like this is another thing. Like you invest your money so you can be financially free. You can have financial stability or something. But yeah, be consistent. Know what the end goal is, and just follow through. That's the biggest thing. Like a lot of people, I'm gonna go to the gym, they never follow through.
No, Zach, no, they get all lazy. So yeah, these are some ways how a person can get into real estate investing. If you have a W-2 job, which a lot of people do have, it's just, good mindset, get that credit good, get a good loan officer, surround yourself with like-minded people who want to, broaden their journey with real estate investing, because it's hard nowadays. Like I said, there's so many different distractions.
Yeah.
And from that point on, sky's the limit, because there's so much out there. I listened to the guys from Earn Your Leisure, and they said there's never a bad market time. And I was like, I had to think about that, the mindset thing.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yeah, he's right. There is no bad time, because
I think about that too.
because even the wealthy, they love it. Like recession time periods like this, they love that, because why? They can get stuff at discount.
Yep.
Because eventually it'll turn around, and then they can produce profit off of whatever they're investing in.
Yeah. Oh, you know what you said too? You're like, surround yourself by like-minded people. No, the people that are doing this aren't doing it by themselves.
No.
When you're investing, you're not doing it by yourself. You need to build a team. You need to build rapport and a network. Because even if you think you're doing it by yourself, you have your loan officer you deal with, you have your realtor you deal with, you have if you're gonna buy and flip a home, you have constructions, people to deal with, roofing people. So you have to build that network, and no one does it alone.
No.
You can read and study all you want, but eventually you're gonna come across someone and have to deal with them. And so it's start off by yourself, get your mindset ready, but you start your journey by yourself, but eventually you meet people like me and you, and then you build that rapport, and then who knows, one day we might have a deal together. It'd be crazy, but
exactly.
Yeah, this is not a one person thing. It's
No.
Definitely, because even if you think you're doing it by yourself, if you have a spouse, your wife's in it with you, your family's in it with you. Because if your investment property blows up, then we all make money. If it goes down, we have to sell a house or something like that. So
or change up a strategy.
Change it up. So it's a team. You always gotta keep yourself around by multiple people that are on the same goal path.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because you definitely need a team. The stronger your team, the better everything can be. Because everybody plays their position, they play their part to make things go in a positive direction.
Mm-hmm. And take advice everywhere, even if it's good or bad. I feel like
yes,
because I have a lot of friends that are doing things, and I was like, "Did you do this? Or did you look into that?" And like, no. And then they're like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know how to do that." And then like later on, you find out they did do it. I'm like, did they learn? Did they just do that because I told them, or not? Because sometimes the best advice, it comes from someone outside your circle. So I don't know. I take advice, and sometimes the advice might be horrible and lets you know where your mindset's at. It's like, that's great advice if I was going to do tax fraud. Right. But I'm not gonna do that. So now I know I'm not gonna do that because I'm trying to do it right, be legit.
Yeah.
So
side note, the best advice I ever was given was actually from a patient that I was taking care of. And he actually wrote the advice on the napkin, and then I eventually wrote it on a piece of paper, and I have it to this very day. And it talked about real estate investing, and I was like, I'll never forget this. Yeah, so you never know who you're going to come across.
Yep.
Never know.
And that could just be a new person in your circle, in your network.
Yes.
Or a partner. So
you're right.
So you're not alone. Everyone wants to make money. And everyone wants, hopefully everyone wants to make money, and no one usually wants to do it by themselves. No. So there's other people out there that want to do it are in the same exact position.
Yeah.
That you are.
Like I said, the old saying, your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
That's the truth. All right, this is another episode of the Professional Real Estate Investing Podcast. Subscribe, like. You can actually even go on on YouTube. Have a ton of videos with this gentleman right here. We'll be putting this out soon. Everybody have a blessed day.
See ya.
In the fast-paced world of real estate, success hinges on information. Introducing PropStream, your all-in-one real estate solution.
No way.
Find properties, analyze markets, and generate leads effortlessly. With PropStream, you're always one step ahead. Access it anytime, anywhere, and watch your business thrive. Don't miss out on the future of real estate. Get started with PropStream today. Visit trial.propstreampro.com/Tony Jacobs for a 7-day free trial and revolutionize your real estate game. PropStream, your key to real estate success. Don't wait. Start now.